Our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage from New Orleans is brought to you in part by Flight by Yingling, Circa Las Vegas, Smoky Mo's Barbecue, Synergenics Testosterone and Weight Loss, and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Welcome back to the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. In New Orleans, our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage continues with the host of Unsportsmanlike, Michelle Smallmon, joining us now. You're doing great. We were talking before we came on about what it's like for you now hosting versus when you were producing, just overall your Radio Row experience.
Well, it's really fun to be here. I haven't been to a Super Bowl in like 10 years because I'm from St. Louis and we were the home of the Rams. So we used to go every year. But then obviously the Rams left town. So we had no reason to go to the Super Bowl. And then our show being a studio show last year, it was in Vegas. And there's kind of no point for us to get up at like midnight to do the show and be on Radio Row. So this is the first one I've done in a long time. I forgot what the energy is like and how fun it is. And as soon as you touch down wherever the Super Bowl is, you know that you're in the best place in the world. It's like the epicenter of sports and culture and entertainment. And you just feel the energy of how big of a moment this is. So it's been really fun. It's like, it's flying by already.
All right, wait a minute, Michelle. You said something. You're from St. Louis?
Here we go.
Yes, sir, I am.
You have to be a Cardinal fan.
Of course I am.
What? I'm going to like you a lot.
Yeah.
I am as well.
Oh my gosh. So we can commiserate together.
Of course we can.
We're in a bad place.
I know. It's not good.
It's not going to be good for a while.
It will. Well,
so how about them Astros?
There's always hope.
How about that?
We'll talk later.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
There is always hope. With the
Yes.
Cardinals, they'll
Yes,
find a way.
always.
I don't know.
Always.
As a Cowboy fan, I understand there's always hope.
Oh my gosh. Can I tell you something
yeah, of
that
course.
will probably upset you?
Not really.
But I feel like I need to share this with you now that we're new friends. So Emmitt Smith was our final guest on the show today. And he sat down and Evan said, Brian Schottenheimer, new head coach. What do you think? And he goes, next question.
Whoa.
Yep.
Next question, he said.
That's the last couple of years, what Emmitt has said on our show has actually made like get up.
Yeah.
It's I mean, you talk about talking to former Cowboy players and how unhappy they are.
And how vocal they are.
Yeah. Well, and your co-host, Chris Canty. I mean, same thing.
CC,
I mean, he was on the show with us yesterday, and my goodness, I mean, you know, there is bitterness within the family.
Well, as a fan, do you feel bitterness?
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still a fan.
Yeah, of course.
I don't have the apathy. I still care.
Good for
but
you.
This year, I made it a point after we got back from Oxnard in training camp and seeing what crap was going on.
Oh, my God.
I'm not going to let them ruin my Sundays anymore.
So, but what do you mean by that? Because you're still going to watch. And if you watch, it's going to inherently ruin your Sunday.
What my expectation was, I knew this team wasn't going to the Super Bowl.
Gotcha.
So Cowboy fans every year at Super Bowl. This
well,
year,
because Jerry tells you that he's all in.
Sure.
So why wouldn't you believe it?
All in my, yeah. I mean, there's no way. I mean, but their off-season actions told you they weren't going to be good. This was a great football season as a fan because I wasn't pissed off on Monday.
Good for you.
As pissed. There were a couple times, but normally Cowboy loss ruining your day for
totally.
Yeah, until at least Wednesday.
Michelle, I have to deal with this guy every day and talking about the Cowboys and don't let him kid you. The hope is still there and the optimism. I try to talk him down, but it's very, very
He's
difficult.
a Titan fan. He has no idea what expectations are.
Well, there's a story behind that, too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Come on, spill it. I want to hear it.
Well, I was a Houston Oilers fan growing up,
right?
So I just followed him to Tennessee.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah, it's fair.
By the way, though, those Houston Oilers jerseys, unreal.
They're beautiful, aren't they?
I am so sad that they don't have those anymore. My dad actually has a vintage Houston Oilers t-shirt, and I wore it on the show when Will Levis, I forget if it was his debut or what, he had a great game, and I wore it on the show the next day. The feedback that I got from people who were like, we missed that jersey. What a sick jersey. I'm like, I know. So I understand you wanting to follow your team and have your heart in the NFL. So, because I felt that way. You know, I had to adopt a new team after the Rams were stolen from me.
Who's your new team?
So we did the NFL Bachelorette on Unsportsmanlike. We did a parody of the Bachelorette where I took all 31 teams because the Rams are dead to me, lifetime ban. And I whittled it down to 10, then 6, then 3. And I gave one team my final rose. The final 3 were the Jets, the Bears, and the Packers. So after I revealed it, Jets fans from all over the country, coast to coast, reached out to me and were like, do not do this. we were born into this life. You can choose otherwise.
Wow.
Do not be a Jets fan. So I thought to myself, well, because I live in New York City, I thought maybe I would adopt a local team. And I'm like, if people in this relationship are telling me to avoid it, I'm probably going to listen. And then I'm from the Illinois side of the river in St. Louis. I went to the University of Illinois. Even though St. Louis and Chicago naturally have a healthy hatred for one another,
Yes.
I thought, they just drafted Caleb. It could be an exciting time to jump on the bandwagon. But then I was really weighing the pros and the cons. And I'm like, so I'm in this predicament because of a bad owner. Do I really want to put my trust in the McCaskies and the Bears who've been dysfunctional for decades? So I thought, okay, Titletown, USA, a young team with a quarterback and a great coach. This is a place that has nice Midwestern fans and cheese, and they have no bad owner lording over the whole deal. The Packers were the pick for me.
Well, you just hit a bad spot.
The yellow pants.
Yeah.
See, I tend to hate all the teams that have yellow pants.
You do?
I do. And it just turned out.
What's your beef with yellow pants?
I don't know.
They beat the Cowboys. That's the beef.
Yeah, but even
went into Jerry's World first round of the playoffs last year. Not
Yes.
great.
Like Aaron Rodgers won a lot of Sundays too. I mean, but I don't know what it is. It's the Steelers. You've got the Packers, the Lakers. I don't know what it is about USC.
Yeah.
As a Longhorn fan, there's something about teams with yellow pants I'm just not a fan of.
Well, now you put that in my brain, and now I'm going to be paying attention to teams with yellow pants.
Who looks good in yellow pants?
I think the Packers look great in yellow pants.
So I can't. Are you going to like pack her out? Are you going to wear the cheese head and all that stuff?
Of course. I have one on the studio. Whenever you see me on Sportsmanlike, now you'll be aware of it. Look over my shoulder. They built a shelf there, and it has a little Packers helmet and a Go Pack Go. I have a cheese head. And after that, I gave them the final rose. They sent me to Lambeau for week 2. I did my hometown visit. So I got to actually go there and experience a game, and it was unbelievable. I forgot how great it is to be at the Super Bowl. Living in New York, we don't travel a lot for games. Not having the Rams in town for 10 years now, I forgot how special it is to go to an NFL game when you care, when you actually want the outcome to be for your team, because I've had nothing but apathy for a decade. So it was a very cool experience. I loved it.
That's awesome. Michelle Smallmon joining us here on the Blitz. You have the Super Bowl this week.
Yep.
Doing a morning show is so brutal. You talk about staying up, watching games, and what time your alarm goes off. I imagine on Sunday, though, you're just going to roll in Monday morning dealing with no sleep like everybody else.
Oh, yeah. So normally here I'm getting up at 2:30 in the morning because we're on Central Time and we have to be to set early because we're on Media Row and it's this big setup. So we have to make sure everything's working correctly. But in studio, normally I get up at 4 a.m. We're in studio by 5. So CC, Chris Canty, my co-host, is staying for the game, and I'm staying because I'm hosting this amazing event at the House of Verizon, this watch party. Evan is flying back Sunday morning, and he'll be in studio for the game. CC and I are catching a flight after the game. We land in New York City, I think, at 3:30 in the morning. So I'm going straight to the studio. I'm going to sleep for like an hour in the green room, and then we're just all adrenaline and vibes breaking down the Super Bowl after that.
Is it private jet back or
I'm just rolling with him. I know we're on a plane and that he's handled it. That's all I can tell you.
Canty will take care of that, right? He'll have something private. So there's no Packers, there's no Titans, there's no Cowboys in the Super Bowl. Who are you pulling for?
Who am I pulling for, or who do I think is going to win? Because those are two different answers.
Well, I want to hear who you're pulling for first.
So I'm pulling for the Eagles.
Okay.
I'm a girl that loves revenge. I'm Italian, and I'm a girl that was spurned by an NFL franchise, similar to Saquon Barkley. I love that he very publicly said he wanted to be a Giant for life. He was an amazing representation of that organization. It's not his fault that they picked him number 2 overall. It's not his fault they chose Daniel Jones over him. It's not his fault that they weren't good enough. And the way they did him dirty on Hard Knocks, it just really didn't sit well with me. And for him to find a new home in Philly and not only put up the numbers that he did this season, but be the teammate that he was this season. They played his former team twice. The first time he could have gotten his personal rushing record. And in the fourth quarter, he said, no, let the young boys eat. Selfless. Second time, he could have gone for the all-time rushing record. He easily could have gotten it, in my opinion. Versus his former team, you can't script it any better than that. And for him to again be selfless and say, no, I'm going to rest. I need my body to be right because I don't care about individual awards. I want to win a Super Bowl with this team. I could not respect that anymore. So I would love for him to finish the job and win the Super Bowl. I think it would be such a great story. But so last night I was trying to make the case for the Eagles because top to bottom, I think they're the better team. I think they're the more talented roster. But everything that I would write, I could find a way to negate it with the Chiefs. Okay, so the Eagles are the more talented roster. But we're talking about back-to-back Super Bowl champs who have a better quarterback, maybe the GOAT in waiting, a better head coach. Maybe when it's all said and done, we'll have the most wins of all time. We're talking about perhaps the best big game defensive coordinator in Steve Spagnuolo. So even though the Eagles are more talented, after everything I said, we just have to say advantage Eagles. Any individual matchup I looked at, I was like, okay, maybe I could make the argument here, but no, I have to go with the Chiefs. Saquon, as I just talked about, let me pull this up so I don't get this right or get it wrong because I have been up since 2:30. I'm like, Saquon's been such an X factor. No team's been able to contain him. Maybe he can run through the Chiefs. They haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher in any of their last 18 playoff games. 18. Do I think that all of a sudden Steve Spagnuolo, Chris Jones, and this defense is just going to fall apart in the Super Bowl? I think it's going to be a close game. And you can't go against Patrick Mahomes in a close game.
He's going to win a close game.
You know what I mean?
Always.
So my heart wants to go with the Eagles. My head says, don't do it, girl. Don't pick against the Chiefs.
And you want to see history.
Yeah. I don't personally, but I know a lot of people do.
I want to see history more than I want to see an Eagle holding up a trophy again.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're enemy number one.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course. For a Cowboys fan, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can understand why you wouldn't want to see that.
So for the party you're hosting with Verizon Sunday, and Verizon people in New Orleans, they can go to this free music, all kinds of fun stuff going on over there. Are you expecting more Eagle fans, Chiefs fans, or just people?
I think it's going to be a great combination of all people. And let me tell you a little bit about the House of Verizon. I expect you two to pop by because it's going to be amazing. Like I said, as soon as you get here, it is a collision of the best of sports, music, fashion, and culture, and you're going to get all of that at the House of Verizon. Verizon customers, if you're in New Orleans, you have to stop by because you can get access to limited edition apparel from Rude and Offseason and have a chance to win vintage NFL memorabilia. For more information, just head to houseofverizon.com. And to claim those exclusive tickets, you could just visit the My Verizon app. It's going to be so much fun. I'm really excited. There may be some special guests that are going to be there. So you guys are here. You better pop by. It's going to be awesome.
Michelle Smallmon, appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.